Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Tioni, and today's video is going to be about not myself but ourselves. I'm going to be talking about the self in terms of self-esteem, self-worth and self-love, and these are some things that I've discovered whilst looking at these concepts in relation to my life, so it might apply to you wherever you are on, I guess, your self-love journey. So I'm going to talk about the 3 topics, and yeah, let's just get into it. So self-esteem, which I didn't know really what that meant until I realized how low my self-esteem was. And self-esteem is something that you can build up, or it can be sort of torn down through various life experiences. So it could be through how you're treated by others, which could mean your friends, your family, people at school, people at work, people in your community. And if they have a good opinion of you, then that's going to make your self-esteem higher, if you believe in those positive things that they're saying. And it can also go the other way. So if you're having a lot of criticism from those different groups of people, it can tear you down and bring your self-esteem down. And you can end up internalizing those beliefs. So you might think, well, if so-and-so says this, then it must be true. And then you build up this sense of self based on the external world. So I'm 25 and my self-esteem has been generally quite low for most of my life, and I didn't realise it was because it was a combination of these life experiences and these factors. So once I kind of realised how deep-rooted it was and how much it affected the decisions I made in my life, I tried to fix that, because I was so tired of feeling not good enough, and I felt like there was something wrong with me, because I didn't really get enough positive affirmations from outside myself, and I couldn't create it for myself either. I couldn't kind of block out that negativity and kind of say, well, I don't care what they say because I know I'm a good person, I know that I have good qualities. That line of thinking wasn't in my brain. So I knew that how bad it was making me feel, I had to do something about it. And one of these things is to establish boundaries and to also do positive talk. So automatically my brain will go to the worst conclusion. So if someone ignores me, or if someone dismisses me or anything like that, then I will think, oh, well, it's because of me and I'm this and I'm that, when that's not necessarily true. There's no evidence for this, and this is something that's quite common if you have anxious thoughts. And there are things that you can do to boost your self-esteem. So things like thinking of your achievements that you've had in your life that you're personally proud of. You can also think of the strengths and qualities that you have that are positive. Could be like saying to yourself, I'm a good parent, or I'm a good friend, or I'm skilled at this, I don't know, like I'm skilled at sport, or I'm skilled at music, or I'm skilled at surfing, or whatever it might be. Those are the things that make you unique, and no one can take that away from you. And another way to help your self-worth is to do the self-talk to yourself. So I came across the concept of the inner child when I was looking at sort of mental health subjects and psychology, and I didn't realise how sort of true it is. So we obviously were children at one point, and we didn't have any judgments about anything about ourselves. We just wanted to be looked after and loved. And that part of us is still there. It's just hidden amongst everything that comes with being an adult. And obviously you don't look like a child anymore, and you have different responsibilities and a different life than you had as a child, but you still need that attention, you still need that care, and you still need that kindness that a child wants. And the thing that I did to make myself feel better is, even if the outside world is telling you no and you're not good enough, and if you're getting rejected and feel neglected, then you have no control over that. But your inner child still needs it from somewhere, and you're the person that can say yes and say, I'm going to look after you because I'm with you for the rest of your life. And if it was your actual child or your friend, you wouldn't say to that child or that friend, oh, I haven't got time for you and your needs don't matter and I'm too busy. So what's hard is doing it to yourself and talking that way to yourself. So that's kind of the way of thinking that I've had to change to. And how it relates to self-worth is that even if others don't see the worth in you, you have to tell yourself that you are worthy, and that you have to tell yourself what you do and you don't deserve, and that might entail incorporating some boundaries with people in your life. So if there's someone in your life that when you interact with them it brings your energy down, you don't feel good after you spend time with them, then you need to find ways to make sure you lessen the amount of time that you spend with that person. If it's possible, to not spend any time with them at all, and instead spend more time with people that do raise your spirits and make you feel good about yourself. I know that when I'm spending time with people that make me feel good, I usually, when I leave that interaction, I feel boosted, I feel more myself when I'm with them, and that I'm being more authentic than I would be around people that are a negative influence and bring me down. So that is how you can establish your self-worth, and also just to know what you deserve, and don't accept any less than that, because then you establish to people how you want to be treated, and they need to adapt to that accordingly, and if they can't, then they probably don't need to be in your life, and you just need to seek out people that will reach your level of I guess treatment. So when you don't have a high sense of self or self-worth, you can end up being taken advantage of. People will think they can put the least amount of effort into any interactions with you, and I used to think that was okay and that's what I deserved because of this internal belief that I wasn't good enough. So I didn't even realise that my standards were so low that I would be grateful for any bit of kindness that was shown to me. And I was didn't realise how some people can kind of use your low self-worth to their own advantage. But yeah, once I reframed this way of thinking, which I'm still doing now, it is still a work in progress. The boundaries that I've set have come from protection, I guess, and I know what behaviour hurts me, and I come to a kind of like when something goes into like safe mode, like if you have a computer or a phone or something and it doesn't let you operate on it because it's trying to keep itself safe. So at some point something inside me says I'm not taking this way of treatment anymore, and even if I have to make a hard decision, I know it's going to help me in the long term and save my mental state. And that's quite a difficult thing to do if you're used to pleasing people and not wanting to create conflict or massive change. So it is quite a difficult thing to do, but when you do improve your self-worth and your self-esteem, I think it will help you in the future to just feel more sure of yourself. So lastly, self-love. So when you have established the boundaries, you have boosted your self-esteem, you know your self-worth, the self-love thing kind of brings it all together almost. And it's a bit of a confusing concept because it's used quite frequently in today's culture, but I don't really have. There's not a one size fits all for self-love, and you can incorporate it in many ways. So it could be physically, so it could be I'm going to put a bit more effort into my appearance because it makes me feel good, like just seeing myself differently. If I look, it's the saying of when you look good you feel good and you feel more confident, and it kind of just gets you out of a rut, I guess. If you're used to being in the same routine and looking the same way for such a long time, then it's hard to kind of change your view and your mindset. So even something as small as changing your appearance, like changing your hair or changing your clothing or doing, I don't know, some sort of beauty routine, and it doesn't need to cost you a lot. You can do really small things to achieve that. Another thing you could do physically is to do exercise. And I found this helpful not only physically but mentally, because it was not necessarily the exercise itself, but giving myself that time to be exercising and doing something that's going to benefit only me, not for anyone else or anything else. So yeah, that's another way that you can love yourself physically, is by giving yourself that time. And also you do get the other benefits, so you feel healthier, you feel fitter, and you're just generally looking after your body. And you can also do self-love by doing things that you enjoy, so spending time on your hobbies. For me, at the moment, it's YouTube, something that I always say I'm too busy for, but then when I actually sit down and do it, is giving me that outlet. And also I've just started making TikToks, so that's something that it doesn't really help me in any way except to just have it with fun and be a bit creative. So yeah, also I think it's quite hard to incorporate self-care sometimes, because if you go too far the other way and just center your whole life on yourself and not consider improving other people's lives, then it can end up being selfish, and that's not a good thing either, to have too much time for yourself and not anyone else. But it's also not good to have no time for yourself. And if you are in a role where you do have to dedicate a lot of time to other people, caring for other people, emotionally and physically, like if you're a partner, if you're a parent, if you have a job like in healthcare, or if you've got responsibilities that involve the well-being of other people, it can be quite draining if you're not getting anything back. So if you can't get that same love and care that you're giving to other people, you need to find some way to give it back to yourself, in whatever way is best for you. And you might be limited on time, so it might be something like, well, I've got half an hour to myself and I'm going to use that time to do whatever I want, if that's like watching TV, or if that's having a bath, or if that's anything you like to do, then you have to do it, so you avoid, like I mentioned in my previous video, burnout. And when you get to that point, you won't be able to help anyone, and I've learned this lesson the hard way, and what I'm trying to do is to make sure I'm consistent with looking after myself, so that when things do get tough, I'm still able to find the energy from somewhere, because I haven't given 100% of it away. And it's quite hard to know when that happened. So I recommend just researching self-care and well-being. I think there's some sources on the NHS website that are about the basics, so just having a healthy lifestyle, boosting your mood, so that might be a start. So I hope this video was helpful, just a quick overview on the self-esteem, self-worth and self-love. And yeah, hopefully we can all have a better relationship with ourselves, as good as the ones that we have with other people in our lives. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.